WASD had a delicious helping of indie titles to play over the course of the weekend. The best thing about going to these events is finding those games that you never expected to find. They honestly bring me so much happiness as I add them to my ever-growing Steam wishlist and eagerly await their release. It is my 5 hidden gems from WASD. Initially I had mistaken this game for a survival horror. The gothic writing on its black and red background certainly gave me those vibes, but soon enough I found myself in a co-op puzzle game. We Were Here Forever. This game looks like it's going to have a range of escape room like puzzles to get yourself out of a castle that you've become trapped in. Left behind with nothing but your walkie-talkies, you must use your communication skills to solve the puzzles and move forward. On the W.A.S.D demo we found ourselves trapped in these rooms far apart from each other with no idea what was going on, but to be fair, the puzzle was easy enough to get the hang of. Soon enough we were unlocking doors for fun as we matched the symbols on top of them, but the second part proved a challenge as we had to retrace our steps and find our way to each other. With a push-to-talk system where only one person could speak at a time, it really emphasised the only thing horrific during this playthrough was my communication skills. I was lucky that I had someone with a lot of patience to put up with my ramblings. There is definitely a horror element to this game and it seems more affiliated to the story than the actual gameplay. I do wonder if there's going to be any cheeky jump scares as you make your way through the range of puzzles though. I guess we'll find out later next month when We Were Here Forever is released. Hard West 2 is probably one of the most unexpected games I found myself enjoying at WASD this year. I found myself engorged in this game. As you can guess from the name, the game is set in the Wild West and you must raise your posse to take on the undead. Yeah, you heard it right, the undead. It was a twist I never saw coming. As we made our way through the carriages in the tutorial, I was expecting a very standard sort of Wild West encounter. But then as you make your way to the last carriage, a necromancer appears, summoning his army of undead and throwing a load of spells your way. The combat proved to be a lot of fun. Each member of the posse have a range of skills from bouncing bullets, spread damage and extra melee damage, figuring out the best way to get around the multiple enemies who are hidden behind barrels and other objects. Enemies also appear on multiple levels, meaning that finding cover and utilising action points to duck is vital. But don't worry, you can gain action points from stringing together a run of enemy takedowns, unlocking a bravado state, meaning multiple enemies can be taken down in just one turn. While new posse members can be recruited to introduce new skill sets. I did unfortunately only get the chance to play the combat part in the tutorial, so I missed out on a lot of the RPG elements, but I'm definitely excited to see these come to fruition when the game is released. Imagine mini golf, except you're all on the same course at the same time. No more turns though, racing to the end and hitting the ball as quick as you can without much time for thought. Well, that's basically Golf Gang, a game that takes the chaos and pace of Mario Kart and the silly and slapstick nature from Fall Guys. Each map comes with its own set of obstacles including ramps, water and moving walls. Plus with the addition of golf balls flying around you left, right and centre that can knock you out of the way, it definitely makes for a fun experience. The mechanics are very simple, drag back and let go in the direction you want. But as you race against your friends and the clock whilst keeping an eye on your power count, means that you have to be incredibly creative with your shots. The ramps and balloons can provide you with a perfect opportunity to fling yourself across the map and several steps towards the final hole. But the real fun starts when you add in the modifiers. During our playthrough at WASD, we got the chance to experience the explosive touch and the growth spurt. This means that every touch was lethal, even when we didn't hit the balls ourselves, as it could fling you back to the 5 or 6 shots back. Then the growth spurt means that the golf balls grow so heavy that we ended up just getting stuck, especially on the ramps. There is a large number of other modifiers available, and this is why I think this game would definitely be one for those who are the competitive nature or perfect to add to your charity game collection. Set in a procedurally generated world, Shadows of Doubt is going to make some huge changes to the detective narrative genre. Normally restricted to a very linear narrative in most detective games. For example, in the Sherlock Holmes games you are given a set of clues which are added to a scripted mind map. These can be linked up to lead to the next answer, but Shadow of Doubt does things slightly differently. Everything in the world can be a clue, and it's up to you as the player to decide on what the best course of action is. Do you think that this is useful information, or could it be discarded? And there's a fancy mind board to put all your clues on, where you can link up clues with different colour strings and move them around as you please. Even make a new one if you feel it's getting out of hand. Every building in Shadows of Doubt is accessible and every character with the ability to talk, so you do have a range of sources to get these clues from. The ability to delve into the role of a PI in this game is fantastic. You even have to make money to live, make sure the character is fed, hydrated and has enough sleep. All of these stats can impact your detective and communication skills, impacting in your investigation. There is a stealth element in the game as you must sneak around buildings to delve into the personal lives of those under investigation. You have a range of gadgets including lockpicks, code breakers and a fingerprint scanner to help you get into the places you might not have access to. But remember, the police aren't on your side. Oh, and the security electric breakers actually shut the door. Ran into that one a few times. I could honestly talk all day about how much there is to do in this game, including side missions, so I'm unfortunately going to have to leave it there, but this is one that should be on any detective fan's wishlist. So as we walked the halls of WASD, we heard a security guard mock the hero of Nostalgaia. "Imagine making a game and designing that to be your character," he said. Well, it was a sign of things to come in the last hero of Nostalgaia. With the world of video games collapsing in on itself, the character and the world are losing that all too precious graphic quality and fidelity. Some of the characters would find themselves at home comfortably in classic games like the original Wolfenstein and Medieval. But the hero is the worst of them all. A pixelated underbelly of a character design. They have lost all ounce of fidelity and graphical quality. But as is the way with these games, never underestimate the little guy, even if they are met with words of disgust and detestment from the hilariously cynical narrator. Nostalgaia seems a breath of fresh air in the Souls-like genre, still set in a dark and mysterious world but with a humorous twist. It excites me to see what lore may be tied down to the weapons and armours that can be found in the dungeons. Not only this, but I feel there is a level of fairness to the combat. I often hear stories of Smog and Ornstein and how daunting of a fight it is, but here I found once I pretty much figured out what I was doing, I was dodging and parrying my way through the hordes of 2D and 3D enemies, until I got to the boss where you find yourself trying to stay away until the right opportunity strikes. Here, only your own carelessness takes you out. The health potions were really handy and timing them right was essential to the victory. I feel Nostalgaia is a very welcoming experience to the Souls-like genre, with its great humour and fair combat. The humour and the fact it doesn't feel like a big game removes that daunting prospect of a Souls-like, but the scope of the game is yet to be seen, and the 20 minutes demo definitely didn't show off everything that was to offer. We will have to wait till later this year to find that out. WASD had so much to offer, and these are just a few of the games that were there. It's definitely an exciting time to be an indie fan, and I can't wait for next year to be able to chat to more devs and publishers about their game. Is there any games you discovered at WASD, or any hidden gems you're playing at the moment? Let me know in the comments. As always, all the Steam links for the games mentioned will be in the description, so make sure you get wishlisted. To keep up with the latest in indie games, don't forget to hit that subscription button and hit that bell. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll catch you in the next one.